Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It's Friday. While I was trying to contact B Sparrow, please subscribe to B Sparrow Buzz Street Radio, B1, Mouthpiece, Prince Pierre, Preacher Timing. It's so many people that support me, and I am so thankful for the people that support me and have been sticking by as I give my opinion on certain subjects. Hey, wellness with Frugal Mom. And so B Sparrow and I used to do a weekly recap, and we would talk about things that have gone on in the United States of America, all of the news. And y'all know that when I talk about world news, Hollywood news, I try to break it down to what's going on in the real world out here. We are not exempt from anything. The title of this show is With Some Age, You See Some Truth. If you do not get to be a certain age, you start telling the truth. You stop sugarcoating. You stop pretending. You stop putting on airs for people, because you see the truth. You see the game that's been played. And this goes from life, family, kids, friends, everything. Everything is a revolving circle in my book. You know, ain't nothing changed as far as I'm concerned. In this world, I will be 63. It don't matter who the president is. It don't matter who the Pope is. None of that stuff matters. They are human beings, even these celebrities. They are flawed just like regular people. Stop putting your trust in people that you don't know. Stop defending people that you don't know. And stop believing in people that you don't know. Hold on for one moment. I've got to send this show to somebody. The first thing I want to talk about is the Met Gala. Hold on. Allergies are kicking my butt. And this internet, bear with me. Hold on. Now, I am frozen. I am frozen. Oh, I'm frozen. Now this is crazy. I'm looking, my computer screen's not moving. I got the computer hooked up to the Xfinity Wi-Fi, and it's still stuck at 359. It's not moving. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to just keep talking before I can share the screen. Anyway, like I was saying, with, with age comes wisdom. And if you don't learn anything when you get older, because, we got some old fools out here too. Some folks, you just can't tell them nothing. You got to start facing the hard facts about some truths, okay? You got to start looking at some things for the way they are. It is what it is, okay? All of this stuff we've been programmed to think, we've been programmed with so much stuff to sweep stuff under the rug. If you want to do anything for your family or your friends or the culture or whatever y'all want to call it, the first thing we got to do is stop sweeping stuff under the rug. Once you get older, you like, I'm not holding on to this stuff no more. I'm telling people just how it is, just how it was, how you treated me, what you did to me. I'm not getting ready to sugarcoat and act like all of this stuff was lovey-dovey. Everything was so great. No, you was an abuser. No, you was dirty. No, you did things to me that affect me now. You will stop wanting. You will want the truth to come out. And then you will get older, and the person you thought was the bad person, you find out they was the good person. I can't begin to tell people I worked 2 jobs and took care of my parents while they lost their jobs at the steel mill. So it ain't nothing. Oh, crap. Hold on. Oh. Oh my God. Okay, I live in a supportive and non-supportive building. So age sets the truth free. Yeah. So let's go through. See, Miss Jordan says, and you don't give a damn about telling no story when you get older. Wisdom sets in, and you can care less. I don't care less anymore who don't like me. I ain't trying to live my life for nobody but me. I don't care who didn't want me at their house, who didn't want their kids around me. I don't I don't care. You know, those that talked about me because I went to church and, you know, got in a little trouble and all of that stuff. You didn't make me. You can't break me. I done looked at some of you people do more for your friends than you ever done for anybody. Your own family. The ones that put up with your no good, dirty asses when y'all was out here getting in trouble, standing behind them. They get their asses together that they want to act like they the shit. No, you ain't the shit. You you is the shit. You a shitty person. Don't never forget where you come from. Don't never forget who helped you. Don't allow anybody to be around your kids that sits around and talk about adults. All of that family gossip, friend gossip. The kids know more about what's going on in somebody's house. Then you people that's sitting up here and don't get this twisted. R. Kelly was our family friend. I said I'm standing by him because I knew him. Okay. I didn't know that person they was talking about, but I had to swallow some hard pills, okay? You people sitting up here talking about Diddy and all of this stuff. Diddy, that big PUNKAZZNIGGA was a woman abuser, okay? Broke a woman's nose. His kid's mother, beating women down. I don't like abusers. I don't give a damn about him. But I'm following this trial to see how this is going to go. Now, let me talk about this dirty Diddy. And I want to talk about this black woman that he done put on his team, who, you know, they're saying, oh, she's a victim. She is a victim. She was a victim herself. You know, she was allegedly great and all of this. So for him to have this black lady on his team, hold on, y'all. 1 minute. This is only going to last for a minute. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I can play something. Hold on. We're going to have a look. I'm going to show y'all a video. Oh, crap. Hold on. That's just the test. And let me find this video to show you. Okay, I don't know how long this test is gonna last. I can't win for losing. Not on the internet. Hold on. I'm gonna just show some more videos. We're gonna talk about old green ass for a minute. Y'all hear my cat? He's going crazy. Like, why don't they stop with this? Hold on.
And now to the bombshell lawsuit against Smokey Robinson. Singer Smokey Robinson facing explosive allegations. 4 former housekeepers filing a lawsuit accusing the 85-year-old Motown icon of sexual assault and rape over more than 15 years. At a news conference, 3 of the women appeared in masks and sunglasses, a 4th via video, all remaining anonymous.
These women were all low wage earners living from paycheck to paycheck. They all feared missing a payday and not being able to pay their rent or buy food for their families.
The $50 million lawsuit claims Robinson would call the women into areas of his home with no cameras and assault them. One woman claiming she was raped more than 20 times. Claims she was repeatedly assaulted after he summoned her to his room, saying it was for work. The suit claims Robinson's wife, Frances, knew about the alleged attacks and failed to intervene. She's also accused of verbally abusing the women, denying them breaks and overtime pay.
We believe she was aware of the misconduct and that she used their status as well as our clients' reliance on their living wage in order to keep them in check.
Smokey Robinson is set to go on tour this summer. He and his wife have not responded to this lawsuit.
Well, it could be. I mean, we're going to see. Right now, you can't get any higher. It's at 145, so we know it's coming down. The special relationship and external bond, it's really an external and an internal bond between our 2 countries will soon be stronger than ever before.
Yeah, you have to translate for them. Yeah.
In the middle.
Another chair.
In the middle. I can make the change.
Can you see?
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming here today. My name is John Harris, and this is my partner, Herbert Hayden, with the firm of Harris and Hayden. 3 of our 4 clients are present here today. They've been identified as Jane Does. There's one appearing remotely, who you can probably see on the screen. Also is Miss Guzman, who's interpreting for us today. This is to announce that earlier today in Los Angeles Superior Court, we filed a complaint against William Smokey Robinson Jr. and his spouse, Frances Robinson. The principal causes of action against Mr. Robinson in particular are sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment. Obviously, these ladies are identified in the lawsuit as Does, Jane Does 1 through 4, to protect their privacy, since the lawsuit involves sexual misconduct of the worst sort. We're seeking damages of $50 million. Obviously, no amount of money can compensate these women for what Mr. Robinson subjected them to. But given the gravity of Mr. Robinson's despicable and reprehensible misconduct that is further detailed in the complaint, this amount is clearly warranted. Our 4 clients have a common thread. They're Hispanic women who were employed as housekeepers by the Robinsons, earning below minimum wage. As low-wage workers in vulnerable positions, they lack the resources and options necessary to protect themselves from sexual assaults throughout their tenure as employees for the Robinsons. Let me briefly summarize each of their individual claims. I repeat, I will not describe the details of the sexual assaults and rapes because they're too graphic and disturbing for this news conference. But you can read them in the complaints that we have provided with many of you today. Let's talk about Jane Doe number 1. She worked for the Robinsons for a little over a year, from January 2023 to February 24. Mr. Robinson first sexually assaulted and raped her in March of 23, as detailed in the complaint. What he would do was summons her to his blue bedroom, which you'll probably be hearing about later on. After having just showered, he would come out of the adjoining bathroom naked and proceed to force her to have sex with him against her will. He sexually assaulted and raped her in this manner 7 times. She quit in February 2024 because she could no longer endure these sexual assaults. Jane Doe number 2. She worked for the Robinsons from May 2014 to February 2020. Smokey Robinson's modus operandi was somewhat different with her. He would ask her to meet him in areas in the home where there were no cameras. There were 2 such places or areas in their Chatsworth home, the garage and the laundry room. When she would meet him at this location, he would immediately begin to sexually assault and rape her, causing her excruciating pain. He sexually assaulted and raped her in this manner 23 times. She was forced to resign because she too could no longer endure Mr. Robinson's sexual assaults. Jane Doe number 3. She worked for the Robinsons as a housekeeper from February 2012 to April 2024. Her story is quite similar to the others. Mr. Robinson would call her into his blue bedroom where he would sexually assault and rape her. This occurred approximately 20 times. And like the others, she quit in April of 2024 due to the repeated sexual assaults against her. Jane Doe number 4. She worked the longest as a housekeeper for the Robinsons from October 2006 to April 2024. He raped her in 3 of their homes, namely the Chatsworth home, the Las Vegas home, and the Bell Canyon homes. He had a preoccupation of fondling her breasts and touching her all over her body against her will. She too quit in April of 2024. The obvious question that one will ask, and I suspect most will, why didn't they report Robinson's criminal misconduct to law enforcement or go public before now? As I said before, these women were all low wage earners living from paycheck to paycheck. They all feared missing a payday and not being able to pay their rent or buy food for their families. And also, Smokey's Robinson celebrity status intimidated them and all made them feel powerless. I want to add that these 4 women were afraid of shame, familial humiliation, and embarrassment. The stigma that still exists in some cultures that unfortunately blames a rape victim for the assault perpetrated against them. And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment. So throughout their dreadful experiences with Mr. Robinson, all 4 women remained silent because many of them worked at the same time. Too embarrassed to reveal their assaults by Mr. Robinson to each other. Once they broke their silence, an avalanche of emotions began to flow between them. Hence, they're all here today. These courageous 4 women have collectively decided to come forward and share their experiences of being sexually assaulted by Mr. Smokey Robinson and stand up for their rights, as well as the rights of other women. Particularly those that may be victimized by him in the future. We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist that must be stopped. We further believe that these four women's testimony as to Mr. Robinson's sexual assaults and battery against each of them will be unassailable and compelling. Our clients, courageous women, want and demand justice for themselves, and the filing of this lawsuit is the first step of their journey to achieve that objective. Thank you.
Okay, hold on, everybody. Hold on. Now, first of all, as the title of the show, with age comes some truth. Do you know that some people take being abused by family, friends, strangers, the first date? Do you know that some people will take that to their grave? People do not come forward and tell that I just was supposed to have been going to get ice cream and he took me to the park and he raped me. Y'all know we can't say the R word. Do you know? Now, we're going to sit up here and act like we don't know who the neighborhood kid was that you didn't go over to their house because you know their cousin was touchy-feely, or you know that their cousin was going to do something to you. I mean, come on, y'all. Some people just ain't going to never tell. Some people, they made abusers. Some people that's being abused unwillingly, well, you're always being unwillingly because no means no, period. How many times was y'all in a relationship with some no good man? They come home drunk, you don't want to do nothing, and they just took the poon nanny. No means no. These ladies were Hispanics. They was illegals. Smokey Robinson, the first white man to pass for black. Why do some people wait years? People can only tell their story when they want to tell it. Most people keep the traumatic experiences that happen to them. They lock it away until they're triggered. That's why people really need to leave people alone. You see why this world, people just going on. People are holding on to a lot of traumatic experiences that has happened in their life because we're ashamed. You're ashamed to tell somebody that the family friend abused you. You're ashamed because, you know, now there are the girls that go after the men, but the innocent ones that had nothing to do with just an innocent person. And you know, with our culture, we're going to call them fast and everything else. We cannot tell anybody how they should grieve, how they should handle their traumatic experiences. It didn't happen to us. It happened to them. And since, we don't have people that defend, they'll defend the evil before they defend the good. They'll get them all kind of passes, make all kind of excuses. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm going to drop the link if anybody wants to come up. But B Sparrow, I was trying to call you so we could do our weekly recap. And there are some women that do lie. There are some people that do lie. And there are some people that tell the truth. But these people in Hollywood, they ain't no different from the regular Joe Blow on the street, the priest, and anybody else. They ain't no different. And then people want to say it's about money. Money. Money could never replace you reliving what happened to you, remembering the face, remembering the smell. Can you hear me now, B? Because I'm on the computer today. I'm on my laptop with the mic. So, with some age could come some truth and wisdom. We got to stop acting like this stuff don't happen. We got to start cheering for people that we don't know. You look at this Diddy situation. I mean, he broke this girl's nose. Kim Porter's nose. You got people that's been telling us for years. And believe it or not, come Monday when the trial starts, okay. Yeah, around this time every year, B, from 4/28 to Mother's Day, I be down. My mom passed on the 28th. Her birthday is May 1st, and then Mother's Day. Every year I think I'm going to do better, and then I still end up getting down, being in the bed for a couple of days. Now, the next story, and we can come back and talk about this. Did you want to come up, B? Let me drop the link. I'm going to drop the link. If anybody wants to come up, you don't have to agree with me. You can disagree with me. I ain't going to get mad. I respect everybody's viewpoint. Girl, it's been too much. Hey, pre-retirement days, how are you? Yeah, it's a lot going on. You've been down yourself, no energy. Yeah. Now, let me tell you something. Okay, you don't have no energy to set up. Girl, I feel you. People don't realize I can only go so far, then I'm tired. Hell, I be needing a rest. I be needing to take a break throughout the day, naps and everything. I don't have that energy. Then there's so much stuff in the air. My allergies, my face was running. I think it was the carpet fresh I put down. I don't know. So much stuff out there in the air. Now, I have one son. Two, actually. Hold on. Okay. I have one son. Okay. Two, actually. But one son, my child I gave birth to. I'm going to love him unconditionally. And I'm his mother. I'm going to stand by him. Even if he's wrong, I'm going to tell his butt he's wrong. I'm going to show some tough love. But baby, let me tell you something. You do something to my one and only son that I done raised. I'm going to be.
Deputy with his car last week pleaded not guilty in court today. Rodney Hinton Jr. is accused of killing the retired sheriff's deputy just one day after Hinton's own son was shot and killed by police from a different department. We saw a dramatic scene in court today after commotion erupted in the courtroom gallery where the hearing was being held. Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster in Cincinnati. Shaq, walk us through what we heard and saw in that rowdy courtroom today.
Yes, and Clay, that commotion that you were just playing there really underscores the emotion that's being felt in this case. And that was the crux of the argument that we heard from the defense attorney really for the first time in this proceedings. The defense attorney not disputing that his client was involved in the crash that led to the death of Deputy Henderson, not disputing the idea that it was an intentional crash, but instead saying it was his emotional state that led him to act in this manner, saying that he was responding emotionally after seeing a video of his son being killed by an officer from a different department. That's something that was backed up by a family member who I spoke to after that hearing about the mental state and demeanor of the defendant in this case. Listen to a little bit of that conversation.
I can only imagine what you felt when you seen that video, because when I finally seen it, and I watched that video from the beginning to the end, and watched my nephew drop the way they dropped. It was like my soul left my body.
Robert Hinton, he pleaded not guilty in that courtroom. We can expect an updated plea to come once an indictment is officially filed.
Yeah, a lot of emotion today, Shaq. And I know also tributes pouring in for the deputy killed last week. What more have we learned about him?
Yeah. Someone who is described as a professional who was loved by so many people. He was a 33-year veteran on the force, someone who was...
Okay. All right. So, right now, I'm like NAA after police. When I think about that boy in Chicago who they shot over 40-something times, all of these people that we saw be killed by alleged police officers. when they can use a taser. You know, they you know, when they shoot them to unalive them, right? They shoot them to unalive them. Okay? Yeah, NAA, F the police. Yeah. Okay? They shoot to unalive them. They can use, they were in fear for their life. They will take out a kid in the park playing with the toy rifle. And to see the police, when they release the video footage and you see what they did to your child, baby, let me tell you, I ain't mad at this father. And the father looked at all of them. That man, Mr. Rodney Hinton Jr., whose son was unalive by the police, went and hunted him down and ran him over. Now, I feel him. No, it's not right. I don't condone violence. You know, I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do, how to think, but I can relate. You take mine away. An eye for an eye. Maybe they'll stop unaliving these people and using tasers if they think somebody is going to come after their butt. But no, you know, they ain't right for the head. They ain't, you know, they know where to shoot to unalive these people. Mr. Hinton stood in that courtroom and looked at all of them like, and what? Because I'll come for you too. Y'all think folks are going to be sitting here looking at cops, unalive people, and they just supposed to take it? Mr. Hinton said, I don't want no money. And I don't care. I don't care if his son was in a stolen car. I don't care about none of that. It's a way that you're supposed to respond. You're supposed to bring them in. And they're supposed to have a trial. They're not supposed to be unalive. But y'all in fear, you know, The police are in fear for their life, right? They shoot to unalive, right? They shoot to unalive people. Hold on.
Hinton Jr. intentionally hit and killed an Ohio sheriff's deputy with his car after his own son was fatally shot by police while fleeing from a stolen car. Hinton is charged with aggravated murder and was in court yesterday for a bond hearing where the judge ruled that he will remain in jail while he awaits trial. Our Scripps News affiliate in Cincinnati has the details on the case.
We're going to go right now. As Rodney Hinton Jr. was brought before the judge for a bond hearing, things grew tense with this moment that brought everything to a standstill. A man who appeared to know Hinton tried speaking with him through the glass, prompting law enforcement to throw him out of the courtroom.
I cannot recall a case that I've ever seen like this.
The judge ordered Hinton to remain in custody at the Claremont County Jail without bond. Dozens of CPD officers, Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies, and those supporting the Hinton family watched on as the judge made his ruling.
This is the most unusual case.
The prosecution says the state believes Hinton ran over the first law enforcement officer he saw after reviewing body camera video of an officer shooting and killing his son, Ryan Hinton, a day earlier.
Defendant in his current state is a giant mental health question mark and is a clear and present danger and poses a substantial risk of physical harm to law enforcement officers and to the public.
Hinton's attorney, Clyde Bennett, says the 38-year-old father was not in the right state of mind around the time of the crash.
They think that what they're doing is right, and they think that what they're doing is right because they're not in their right frame of mind.
Bennett requested Hinton receive a competency evaluation. The judge separately ordered jail staff to give Hinton any mental health treatment that is available.
I believe my client was mentally ill and probably committed this offense. I want him to get treated. And nobody.
I know this is a difficult time for everyone who lives in this community.
Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey provided an update on her office after the hearing.
While we are concerned with safety, when other people stay in their houses because it's too dangerous to go outside, we're outside. We're standing, and we will continue to stand.
Of course, we'll continue to track that case for you, bring you any updates at all.
Blah, blah, blah. Don't nobody want to hear that stuff. Y'all come out. When y'all respond now, y'all coming out with lasers, beams. Y'all, it ain't no more police. Y'all might as well just bring in SWAT. And you ready to unalive people. You want to take out as many. For all of you young kids out there, please, if you're listening to this show and you're going to do the replay, please stay out of trouble. Don't let the police have to be involved because the police, you know, they have been trained to shoot to unalive, especially when it comes to people of color. Don't get this stuff twisted. And what's so unusual? What's so unusual? Who was that guy? What was his name? Laquan McDonald, wasn't it? How many times? Hold on. Yeah. Laquan McDonald, you know, was shot and unalive by a police officer. and they shot him over 18 to 20 times. Man, they go on the live view. They go on the live view. They go on the live view, and they go make sure for sure that you can get up. Okay? It's over. It's over. Because they're shooting to unalive you. When I tell y'all, this has been a week, oh my Lord. With age comes the truth and some wisdom, and I'm seeing stuff that I never thought I would see happen. Now, y'all remember, hey, King D, y'all remember down there in Memphis when we saw them police officers kill that boy unalive Tyree Nichols. You know, allegedly Tyree was supposed to be seeing one of the officers' wives or girlfriends or some old hoop-the-data mess that was going on down there in Memphis. Memphis is like the Wild Wild West too. You saw three police officers who happen to be black. That's why I say I'm NAA. I'm NAA after police. You saw, and I didn't even say a color. See, they all dirty. These three police officers who beat a man. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'll be done. Hold on. Hold on. I got to subscribe to the New York Times. Hold on, y'all. Y'all go take a break for a minute. Let me go get my first time. Hold on. Okay, y'all hold on for 1 minute. Y'all go get y'all some popcorn, because this is the weekly recap. I'm on one today. Ooh. Hold on. Ooh. But anyway, down there in Memphis, Tennessee, as I'm putting this in, these officers unalive Mr. Tyree Nichols. Mr. Tyree Nichols, you know, was seeing one of these police officers, wives and girlfriends, you know. And so, you know, what they did is they went after him, you know. He probably flaunted it in their face, you know. I done had your woman. Or your wife. Yeah, I remember when we did that beat. That's what I was saying. That's why I was trying to get in touch with you. Okay. Okay, now why can't I bring this up now? Hold on, y'all. Okay. So here we go. What the heck? Okay, wait a minute now. Hold on, y'all. Jesus Christ, I didn't know I would have to do all of this stuff. Okay. I thought I was ready. I think I should be Ready now. Okay, here we go. Now this is crazy. Hold on. Now I'm getting ready to get upset now. Hold on, y'all. Because I wonder if I have to log out and log back in. Well, oh, and anyway, while we're waiting, because I did pay for this subscription for the New York Times, we have a new pope. Uh, he's from Chicago. You know, they say he's Creole, so uh, that means he might have a little bit of whatever in him. Okay, finally, here we go. I'm just not getting what is going on. So let me just find another article. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay, finally. Y'all enjoying y'all little break? Thanks for bearing with me as hold on. I'm really Okay. Okay, let me just find another one. I'm not going to keep doing this. Thank y'all for being with me, because I just paid for this subscription and I don't know what's going on. And you know, everybody wants to charge you now for articles. Hey, Goddess of Love. Hey, everybody. Hold on. Okay, I finally got something. Okay. I got to find out.
Those are the last words we hear from Tyree. Help me.
Police work is dirty work. It just is. It doesn't mean that the men are dirty.
And nobody's saying stop. Nobody's saying don't do it. Nobody's saying grab Emmy Martin.
Tyree Nichols made these choices.
It's hard for us to imagine how someone could say that none of the defendants were guilty of any of the charges.
He chases the suspect as he's trained down a dark street. He doesn't know what he has.
Tyree Nichols is dead and deserves to be alive.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
It's hard to watch a video over and over again where you know the ending is always the same, and that's your son leaving this earth.
Fox 13 News at 5 starts now.
The verdict, a surprise for so many. All three former Memphis police officers on trial accused of beating Tyree Nichols to death were found not guilty on all charges. Thank you for being with us tonight at 5. I'm Daryl Green.
And I'm Darcy Thomas. As we set up our team coverage on this very important story, we want to immediately point out that these three officers are still going to prison for at least 20 years each on the federal charges. 2 others have pleaded guilty and also agreed to lengthy prison sentences. Now, this team of reporters will give you full context from every perspective tonight, from the officers, the families, and the ultimate decision.
We begin with Fox 13 investigative reporter Kayla Solomon, who covered every moment in both the state and federal courts. Kayla?
Yeah, Daryl, we had 6 days of testimony from 22 different witnesses, and the state called 5 of them. Now, we know the state relied heavily on video in this case, and the first one was Ravon Wells, the mother of Tyree Nichols. And then we also heard from Desmond Mills Jr., who took a plea deal in this case. Now, the state rested its case 3 days into the trial, and as I mentioned, relied heavily on the Sky Cop and body cam videos that showed the initial traffic stop, the beating itself, and the aftermath. At some points, Nichols' family left the courtroom because they didn't want to see any of it. The points the state stressed were the kicks from Emmett Martin, who also pleaded guilty to federal charges, the baton strikes by Mills, and then Bean and Smith holding Nichols down while Haley kicked Nichols. But the jury clearly did not think the strikes from the 3 men on trial were criminal.
It's hard for me to understand, as I'm sure it's hard for the public to understand, or many in the public anyway, who watched that video, who heard the testimony, who heard the compelling arguments of trial counsel. It's hard for us to imagine how someone could say that none of the defendants were guilty of any of the charges. I think I personally think any fair-minded person who watches the video would come to the conclusion that everybody there had some responsibility for Tyre Nichols' death.
Mulroy, he said that although they do respect the jury's decision, they obviously do not agree with it. We'll hear more from him as well as the trial team on this case coming up at 5:30 and 6. Daryl.
That is Fox 13 investigative reporter Kate Solomon live. We'll see you later in the newscast. Thank you.
Count 2, aggravated assault, acting in concert. Defendant Tadarius Bean, not guilty. Count 2, we the jury find the defendant Demetria Haley, not guilty. Count 2, we the jury find the defendant Justin Smith, not guilty.
With that, the jury cleared the 3 former Memphis police officers in connection with the death of Tyre Nichols. The not guilty verdict on all charges comes more than 2 years after the traffic stop where Nichols was beaten.
Families on both sides of this issue, as you can imagine, reacted with emotion. Let's go to Fox 13's Jack Bilyeu. He was outside the courtroom as they walked out and continues our team coverage tonight at 5. Jack?
Yeah, Daryl, the 5th floor of 201 Poplar was full of sheriff's deputies from the moment the jury went back into the courtroom. After that verdict was read out, Nichols' family left the courtroom. They walked in a single file, sullen, looking defeated. Now they walked out. You could see at the front a young woman with her head hanging low crying. Nichols' mother, Rovon Wells, looked straight ahead while she walked. None of them said a word. They went into a room off to the side of the hall to meet with prosecutors and talk about what happened. By the time prosecutors came out to speak to the camera, Nichols' family had already left. A spokesperson for them says they needed to go home and process what happened. And while that family was grappling with the acquittals, others were celebrating them.
Oh, thank you, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Now, those were some of the loved ones of those former Memphis police officers while they were getting ready to leave the building, shouting in relief. The defendants and their attorneys left the courtroom through a back way. They never had to face the cameras on their way out. We'll be live out here again tonight at 6 with more.
Jack Bilyeu live at 201 Poplar. Jack, we'll see you later in the newscast too. Thank you. Tears, hugging, and more. That was a reaction from the officers moments after the not guilty verdicts were read in court. Many of them hugging all of their lawyers too. Some were wiping their faces. Their relief, much different than that of the family of Tyre Nichols.
Now let's take a look at the jury. The juries were brought in from Hamilton County, Tennessee. That's where Chattanooga is. It was made up of 8 white women and 4 white men.
Nichols' death led to a Justice Department investigation. It revealed a pattern of civil rights violations and calls for reforms to restore trust between police and citizens. However, Memphis leaders do not agree with a consent decree with the Department of Justice. Now it looks like that won't be a problem because last week, President Trump ordered a federal review of every police consent decree in the country.
Tennessee Senator Ramesh Akbari says that she is heartbroken and angry at the not guilty verdicts. In a statement, Akbari goes on to say what happened to Tyre Nichols was not just a tragedy, it was a brutal injustice. And now his mother, Mrs. Rovon Wells, and his loved ones are left to carry a pain no family should ever endure. Akbari also said that Tyre deserved better, and we will fight for his name, for his memory, and for the justice that still feels too far away.
Now, while today's verdicts in the state trial are not what most people probably expected, all 5 former officers charged in this case will likely soon begin lengthy prison sentences.
That includes the men acquitted on all charges today. All 5 defendants are due in federal court in mid-June for sentencing. Desmond Mills was the first to take a plea deal in November of 2023. He made an agreement that resolved both his state and federal charges. He admitted to federal charges of using excessive force and failing to intervene. In exchange, the government will recommend a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. He testified in both trials against the other officers.
Prosecutors and his fellow defendants have pointed at Eamon Martin as the person most responsible for Nichols' death. Late last summer, just before the federal trial began, he also reached a deal to resolve his case. He admitted to federal charges of using excessive force and witness tampering. Prosecutors say they'll recommend a 40-year sentence for him.
That leaves behind Bean, Haley, and Smith to stand trial in both federal and state court. While they were acquitted today in state court, a federal jury convicted all three men of witness tampering. Prosecutors have called for a 20-year sentence for Bean. The U.S. attorney will also ask for 20 years for Smith.
As for Haley, he's facing the longest recommended sentence. The federal trial ended with him also convicted of violating Nichols' civil rights through unreasonable force. Prosecutors recommended to the judge his sentence be 60 years in prison.
The Nichols family still has another trial to go through. They are suing the city of Memphis for $550 million. Attorneys for the city are working to turn over hundreds of thousands of videos and documents to the Nichols family. The city expects it will take about 3 months to transmit all documents and videos for each of the 880 incidents listed in the case. City leaders have said that this lawsuit will bankrupt this city. The trial is scheduled for September of 2026. Now be sure to stay with Fox 13 News for complete coverage of the Tyre Nichols murder trial. At 5:30, we speak with Fox 13's legal expert, Andre Wharton, about the not guilty verdicts.
Another sad case. You know, the officers, messed with this boy, and they all, well, it was 5 of them, but the main 2, but all of them was involved because they went to handle business, as police officers. Baby, let me tell you something. With age comes wisdom and the truth. When I get ready to do something, I ain't going to call nobody. I'm going to do it myself. Don't y'all be part of no go along, get along gang and implicate yourself in something that is not your business. And so, those officers, maybe they wasn't told, but they were there. They were there, and they knew what was up. They knew what was up. This was very sad. It was very sad that a man lost his life. And so, again, the police officers then got away with unaliving somebody. Y'all think, because y'all wear those badges, that y'all is top man, y'all gonna take matters into your own hands. All of these police departments, including the city of Joliet, Illinois, have been found to be racist, use excessive force. There is no more tasing, talking people down or anything. They unalive you nowadays. That is awful. I would have never thought living I would be seeing where we see police officers who are to serve and protect unalive so many people. And as I say, I did not say any color, because they are police officers of all races, color, of creed, and they think they are untouchable. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up. You just can't make this up. Again, and of course, they will be like Mr. Hinton did. Take mine, I'm going to take yours. Eye for eye. Even though the police officer, the deputy that he unalived, had nothing to do with it, but just his reaction of seeing the video of your loved ones being unalived by the police who is supposed to serve and protect might send some people over the edge. Like I say, I do not condone violence, but I do understand that as a human being, we are all made of flesh, and we don't know what we will do until the situation. This was awful, awful, awful. And I'm sick of looking at people. I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized from seeing Eric Gardner put in the chokehold. I'm traumatized from looking at George Floyd. I'm traumatized from looking at all of these people unalived by the police when they release this body cam. They've traumatized me. I'm a human being. And so I cannot say, I can say what I would do, but until I'm in that situation, I don't know what I would do. So, it's a jungle out here nowadays. It's a jungle. And it seems like evil is winning. Evil is winning. Over here, we done had the devil, the alleged woman swindle, another person over here. You can't make this stuff up. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And we wonder why the world is in chaos. We hold nobody accountable for nothing. Once we start holding people accountable for their BS, stop sweeping stuff under the rug, defending, if they wrong, they just damn wrong. What's so hard? You wrong. You go apologize to that person. You go make it right. You wrong. There's two sides to every story. And the way people now, man, they're defending folks. They don't even know. They don't know the whole story, you know. And people do lie. They lie. They lie. They lie. So, now let's see what's going on with the Diddy trial today. You know, Diddy is an abuser of women. Diddy is, he's evil. It is what it is. So, we're going to read the latest on what happened what's the latest news with the Diddy trial. Like I said, he they're making him out to be this saint, a businessman. He was an abuser, a woman beater. He broke a woman's nose. He beat a woman down, unaliving the people, drugging them. You got Mark Curry saying how they were putting drugs in the Ciroc bottles, having their way with people. I thought it was illegal to tamper with somebody, to tamper with their drink. And then people want to say, well, why did they keep going? Well, first of all, half of them probably didn't know they was drugged. Then he blackmailed them. You piece of scum. You piece of scum. Call these people out for what they are. He's an abuser. He's an alleged unaliver. He's a booty bandit. He drugged people. Like, what the heck? I had pills to swallow with people I knew. Now, I don't even know this one, but I'm looking at it for what it is. It is what it is. And people want to tell people how they should react. Why they wait years? Why they say this? You wasn't a victim, And most people that stay with these abusers, of course, you don't fall in love with the dirty, no good, low-life person that they turn out to be. You fall in love with the person that you thought was this great person. You got to process all of that mess. And sometimes it's not easy to leave. Sometimes you're scared. If they're threatening your boyfriends, blowing up people's cars, I need people to make that make sense. The women that did leave them, you harassed their men that they were seeing. I just can't. I can't with people. I just can't. You got witnesses missing. A woman that was saying, I'm going to talk, I'm going to say my name. And then you got people saying, oh, they doing it for the money. Did you see the NDA that was leaked? Oh. Like, this man is evil. R. Kelly looks like a saint compared to him. But they all need to go down. They all need to go down. And y'all want to say, why did somebody stay in a relationship? Well, ask your grandmama, your parents, your relatives, while they was with they no good, cheating husbands, had outside kids, brought home diseases, all out in the club with they other women. Go ask them why they stayed with those men. Since y'all got so much to say about these victims. Since y'all got so much to say about these people. You know, it's one of those things where they say, sweep around your own front porch or your own house before y'all start talking about why these women stayed. Man, I swear to God, I can't make this stuff up. Unbelievable. And people have their reasons why they stay. While we stayed with some of them no good men we was with, thinking we could change them, or this wasn't the man we fell in love with. You believed in them in everything, and they didn't give a damn about your ass. Yeah, I'm telling the truth. I'm not getting ready to sugarcoat nothing. We all have been in some relationships. And a lot of us just didn't want to be maybe single. Maybe some people didn't want to get a divorce. Maybe some people, they just, you know, they fell in love. You know. But we want to tell them when they should have left, what they should have did. Then we say, oh, they doing this for the money. Well, let them get paid. Regular women can't get paid. Get the money from the rich folks. They put you in situations, force you to have relationships, drugged you all up, got you hooked on dope, and made you want the drugs and everything else. And so, they have not picked a jury yet. And when these people, when they are desperate, okay, this man is fighting for his life. And he don't give a darn about nobody at this moment. Let me tell you something. When I got in my little bit of trouble, thank God I had my family and friends that stood by me. because they knew what the deal was. You don't see anybody supporting this crazy, abusive, alleged unaliving people, a booty bandit, a drink spiker with drugs. And it is what it is. And let me tell you something. The love of money. Money talks. Bullshit walks. So, you know, for the new black attorney, I get it. The black female attorney who was a victim of SA, okay, I guess for $2.2 million. You know, I would do the same thing too. The love of money. When are we going to get back to basics? Because I don't give a darn. I don't give a darn. Wrong is wrong. And how can a woman that has been SA and great, how can you defend somebody? How can you defend somebody that has done the same thing to you? You can't make this stuff up. But $2.2 million is what this lady was paid. $2.2 million to defend a man. Where is the outrage? Again, money talks and bullshit walks. Only in the good old US of A. So let me find out what happened today. I watch Ticket TV. I watch Tisa Tales. For no fame, I get caught up on everything I need to get caught up on. They got the paperwork, just like I had the paperwork on the R. Kelly trial. And that paperwork, getting those transcripts, is very expensive. So if you go into these people's channel, send them a little love token, because I know I paid for transcripts. And so let's see really D-Lat got to say. Again, the transcripts are very expensive. So if you go to any of those people that are beating the loves her.
Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'll tell you straight out, over the past 4 days this week, the judge questioned nearly 100 prospective jurors on subjects including what they heard about Diddy's case and any experiences they had with sexual assault. With input from defense lawyers and prosecutors, the judge dismissed the jurors he deemed unfit to serve and settled on 45 candidates qualified to serve fairly and impartially. Today, lawyers from each side will take turns striking candidates until a panel of 12 jurors and 6 alternates is chosen, a chess match with potentially decisive implications in the outcome of the trial. Diddy, a Harlem native who founded the pioneering Bad Boy Records and discovered iconic rappers such as the Notorious B.I.G., was arrested in September and has been held in a Brooklyn detention center ever since. Now, why would the judge need to know if prospective jurors had heard about the case or had any experience with sexual assault? Simple. You want to make sure that they were not predisposed to a decision already. And I'll tell you this straight up, fam. It's nearly impossible not to. There was one guy who said a family member or a friend or something like that was robbed by 3 black guys. And the judge asked him, well, do you think that you can be fair and impartial to Diddy because he's black? And this guy said, yeah, right. I know way too many people cannot be fair and impartial when it comes to race, especially if they already have made their mind up that a particular race of people ain't worth giving the benefit of doubt to. I mean, it's possible that, as he said, people are people, he can be fair and impartial, but I'm just suspicious of that. I would have struck him. I would have just got him on out of there. And I do believe that every single one of those jurors already have their mind made up. They're just saying whatever they have to say to get on that jury because they know this is one of those jackpot trials. Everybody involved in this trial is going to get paid in one way or the other. The judge going to put out a book. The prosecutor going to put out a book. The defense attorneys are going to have a book. The reporters are going to have a book. The jurors, yeah. Because people want to know, well, what went down behind closed doors? What were you guys thinking? What were you talking about? Everybody's going to have a book. Now, Diddy has several hurdles, but one of the more immediate hurdles he had is getting past the prosecution's witnesses. Now, the prosecution had one witness, one star witness, who refused to cooperate. Say, look, man, I don't live nowhere near New York City, and I'm not coming out there to testify. It's too inconvenient. So they were saying actually that this particular witness had not been cooperating from the jump. So maybe somebody threw that witness's name in the pool. This is Jane Doe 3. Maybe they threw her name in the pool and they contacted her and she was standoffish from the jump. But they say that this particular witness has never been cooperative. So I'm thinking that the prosecution was already prepared to pivot and bring in some backup. So the prosecution got backup. they say they have at least 3 witnesses who are going to testify to the fact that Sean Diddy Combs is a horrible person, not just a horrible person, but a horrible person who has committed crimes against various people, including SN, you know. So that one witness that is not cooperating, it seemed to be like perhaps that would work to his advantage. The prosecution is like, hey man, don't worry about it. We got backup. We don't need that witness. We got some more over here. So the question is, though, how strong are the other witnesses? We know Cassie is strong. We know that's going to be a strong witness because she's been knowing Diddy for 10 years. And the thing is that I think people are going to give her the benefit of doubt because for the most part they have. I would give her the benefit of doubt to an extent because in my mind, Cassie was complicit with anything that Diddy did sexually. Remember, that's his main thing. That's his woman for 10 years. You really think he had to force her to have sex? Okay, maybe 1 time or 2 times or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times he was feeling something way and he was like, yeah, do it, you're gonna do it. But you think all of those times was forced? Oh no. Did he have action at women around the world? What Cassie won't do, the next young, beautiful woman will do. They lined up to do it. They're lined up around the corner. There's no shortage of women who will pimp their soul to have that lifestyle. So I'm assuming that the defense is going to rip her apart because she was there. Yeah, she's not innocent, man. No matter how innocent she may look, she is not innocent. Yeah, he did what he did to her in that video, and she was a victim in that video. That's clear. But the video is only there to establish his character. That's the only reason why the video has been brought into evidence, so that the prosecution can establish Diddy's character and say, no, the one you say, whatever he's saying, don't believe him. This is the real Diddy right here. This angry man right here, this one that's going upside this woman's head and kicking her, stomping her, throwing vases at her. This is the real Diddy. But he's not on trial for the video. He's on trial for all these other accusations of sexual assault and trafficking and all this type of stuff. So I don't see how the defense could not tear into Cassie. Remember, fam, they was together for 10 years. Diddy is a freaky deaky. He's a super freak, which means that he got busy a lot of times. And he got busy with his woman a lot of times. So perhaps he made her have sex with some male escorts before. But you think there wasn't times that she had sex with male escorts and she didn't enjoy it? This is the same woman who ended up with his fitness instructor, his trainer, after she left him. This man let this man into his house, gave him access to his woman to train her. And he trained her all right, trained her to be his, trained her to be his woman and the mother of his children. He was the shoulder that she cried on. Come on, fam. You in my face every day. This dude is in my face every day. I allowed this dude into my house and he made a move on my woman. And my woman knows this. She is in my house flirting. They probably done had sex in the house and everything. So what type of person is she really? Nah, fam, you know what I'm saying? He did what he did to her in the video. He was wrong for that. And he deserves some punishment for that, but that's not what he's on trial for. Cassie, if Diddy is punished, Cassie got to get some of that action. She got to catch a straight, at least. She got to get something. You know, that needs to be some type of charges against her, because you better believe Cassie went and go get some girls. Y'all know how this go, man. I ain't got to tell y'all. Y'all know girls go get girls all the time from dudes who like to get down like that. You know, you got this, you got this swinger type relationship. You know, that's why he got Cassie to draw. Go get her, baby. You think Cassie ain't went and got some girls? Or some dudes? Good God, some dudes. Anyway, fam. Yeah. Diddy got an uphill battle. And anybody who's on trial, whether it's state or federal, would have an uphill battle. But I also believe that he's not done. The prosecution is going to fumble the ball frequently in this trial. So while Diddy is in trouble, he does face some major hurdles. I do believe that he still got a shot at walking out of that door scot-free. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
No more talk, my behind.
Cause it feels right.
Hold on.
Just a thought of you is me. Baby, so know I pray.
He is an abuser, a woman beater. This is what this man is.
Phillips Latte Go delivers coffee from freshly ground beans with milk steamed to perfection,
Hold on.
just the way you like it.
He's an abuser of women. He broke a woman's nose. He shot a woman allegedly in New York. Shine took the fall for him. Jennifer Lopez carried the gun. He is what he is. He is what he is. But, you know, he ain't got an answer to me. He got an answer to God. He will answer to somebody. And like I say, these people, they sitting up, they want to tell people, hey, Pam, how they should react, why they wait so long. Okay. Ask your relatives, ask your cousins, ask your family, ask everybody why they put up with these abusive men. See, with age comes the truth. Okay? So I ain't trying to hear none of that stuff.
The Sean Diddy Combs trial, and the prosecutors are really annoyed. Y'all, we gotta talk about what's going on with the trial. We have to talk about this jury selection. We have to talk about the judge's deference to Diddy's team that doesn't make any sense. And we have to talk about, will this actually make or break the trial? As you guys know, the Sean Diddy Combs trial was expected to start on Monday. Diddy's team were the ones when jury selection could have been completed on Thursday. Diddy's team asked them to move it till Friday. Now, listen, at that point, everybody in the legal circles, well, not everybody, but me and the one type people I know, were like, wait a second, that don't make any sense. Why don't you get this on Thursday? So if there's any issue, it can be resolved Friday, and the trial can still start Monday. Well, guess what, you guys? It looks like these issues did actually come to pass, because even though the team said, hey, we'll just do it Friday, it seemed like shrewd legal maneuvering to buy another day, buy more time, make sure witnesses don't show up, make sure that the trial looked like it's in shambles. Listen, I know what y'all saying. Oh, Diddy's still gonna be convicted guilty. But you gotta remember this. Diddy only needs one juror to have sympathy for him, one juror to see things his way, one juror to think, oh, you know what, the government's case isn't even that strong, one juror to say this has been a mess up for the whole thing, one juror to say the six-pack of white women are being racist. That's all he needs. Side note, prosecution, if y'all don't get a black lawyer on your team right the F now,
Hold on.
Just briefly, Colorado beat San Diego FC. That
So yeah, attacking the women nowadays and the men, because some women are abusive too. And we done set up and dealt with no good men. Some men done dealt with no good women, and then depends on if you part of that community, you know. Set up and dealt with some dirty, low-life people. So before you pass judgment on these women and ask them why they stayed, ask yourself why you stayed. You know, if you can't look at the world through everybody's eyes, then y'all got so much to say about women that were scared to leave, women that had to act like they liked stuff because they were going to beat you down if you moved on to another relationship. They were going to blow up, allegedly. You know, they want to do everything to you, but stop you from having a life. Kim Porter got her nose broke. Anastasia was allegedly shot in that New York shooting. She had everybody to turn against her. Everybody, including her family. Like I say, money talks, bullshit walks. What people won't do for the love of money. And like I say, that's another story in itself. Because some people getting ready to face some hard times. But in facing your hard times, what would you do for money? Would you betray your friend who you know, who you saw? Somebody attempt to unalive her? When you fall on some hard times, are you going to pimp your daughter out? Are you going to sell your soul to the devil? What do people do for money? And then some of these people, they are scared. Hell, they scared to be on the jury. Then, you know, he's got some money. Like I say, it would not surprise me if he walks away from this. Money talks, bullshit walks. And baby, what people won't do for money. And like I say, you gotta look at the world through everybody's eyes. Because ain't nobody sticking to rights, the right thing, morals. You know, if you just lost your job and you want to save your house to keep your car, hey, some people, you know, a jury can be paid off. Keep this 100. Gotta keep it 100. They got an excuse. Hey, Queen Keith. They got an excuse. We can look at some people right now in our family, friends we know. They with a man, they taking care of them. They not working. The woman's in love. Why she won't leave him? That ain't none of our business. That ain't us. When a woman's fed up is when they're gonna leave, when they've had enough. And like I said, some of these people you be in relationships with, some of them ain't gonna let you be happy. I had a hard time getting rid of the last guy I was with. And Lord, that was, oh my God, 7, 8 years ago. I forgave him. But Hell, he went downtown, got orders of protection because I wouldn't let him come over. All kind of crazy stuff. Some people can't let go. But some people, they're going to dog you out, but then they're going to try to make it worse for you to ever have a relationship. So what if she ended up with the trainer? He was Captain Saberhole. There are some men and some women that will go all out. Baby, I love you. You come with me, and you'll never have to worry about nothing else. I'll never treat you the way this no good man or woman you with. Some of y'all had mamas cheating on your dad. Some of y'all had daddies cheating on your mamas. Some of y'all got outside brothers and sisters. So before you judge Cassie, you sit up and sweep around your own front porch. I have a problem with the woman that has been essayed and great, and now you're going to defend a man that has the same allegations that was done to you. You can't make this stuff up. Where is the morals? Like I say, bulls, money talk, and bullshit walk. Now, something else we get ready to look at. Y'all want to sit here and defend
industry and
to not take a deal. Now, what's he charged with? Sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, I got to tell you, most of those are implication crimes, meaning that they're going to say, well, we can't get you specifically for this thing, but we know you were part of this enterprise that was doing this thing. If convicted, he could face life. He probably could have gotten a deal. He didn't want a deal. Was that right? Well, that'll be a function of who they bring into Dia. The star witnesses could very well be ex-girlfriend Kathy Ventura, right? Yeah, we all saw this horrible video, but supposedly she has more to say, other criminality. We're also hearing that a male sex worker who allegedly took part in those infamous freak-offs could testify, as well as other accusers who've already filed civil against Combs. So let's discuss. Let's bring in trial attorney Misty Maris to help me understand why I have it wrong about this situation from a prosecution perspective, and one of Diddy's longtime lawyers. And by the way, my lawyer, I love it. We always talk about him being like to everybody else, like I don't count. You know what I mean? Like I never get mentioned. You know, Garagos is my lawyer too. Anyway, Mark, thank you for being here. So Misty, the idea of, we'll get to the witnesses, but first, just the idea that I have not been blown away by this indictment, and I don't know why he would have ever taken a deal. You're saying I'm wrong, and I don't understand how he's exposed already. Tell me.
Absolutely, Chris. I'm shocked he didn't take this deal. Even a brilliant defense lawyer like my friend Mark Garagos over there, say he can get Diddy out of the charges that he's faced with, the sex trafficking, the RICO, the transportation of prostitution. Say all that goes away. The feds still have 3 AR-15 guns with scratched off serial numbers that were found in his possession. That's a minimum sentence of 15 years. So even if a rabbit comes out of a hat and all the other charges, there's an acquittal, that is still there. And I think he's toast on that.
What about that, Mark?
Can I say two things first? Number one,
yes.
Kudos for last night. Your town hall was actually 2 nights ago was outstanding. Reminded me of the CNN NAFTA one from the early 90s. That's number one. Number two, Misty, and I'm going to represent you here. I take a little offense about you rarely have somebody smarter or better looking than you on this show, and I guess that's why
Smarter
I'm a regular.
and
But stop
smarter
insulting me.
and. I said I rarely allow men who are smarter and better looking than I am to come on the show. That's what I said.
Yeah, which explains why I'm counted as a regular. So I'll let that just sit there. But let's talk about Diddy for a second. The ball game here is really the RICO action, the so-called enterprise. And the biggest problem the defense has got, but I think they're going to be able to convincingly show a jury, is that this video, which apparently everybody in the world has seen of Cassie in the hallway, when you break it down, and when you see what the evidence is, they're going to that video is not what he's being charged with. What the prosecution is doing here is reinventing history. They're rewriting history. They're saying, no, that was not a domestic violence situation where the statute of limitations expired. And yes, it's horrible. And yes, it was a misdemeanor. And yes, it was in LA County. But we're going to now say 8 years later that was really had something to do with sex trafficking. And I frankly think that's going to be a bridge too far. I don't think they're going to have the evidence to show that. And I would imagine that Cassie is not going to say that. I think you're also going to see witness after witness say, I never went to the police. I didn't do anything in this case, at least in Cassie's case, until I got on the eve of the Survivors Act. And then my lawyer crafted this whole theory. And that's when I got paid. And by the way, that's when the Southern District decided they're going to criminally prosecute based on a civil lawyer's complaint. I think that is what this case is going to come down to.
So cogent, but I must say, I am very impressed that you did a very interesting dodge. You complimented me. You complimented News Nation. You told me I'm good looking. So now I'm like only 5% paying attention to anything else. And then you go eloquently through everything but what she said he's going to get nailed with for sure, which is the weapons that were in his possession with the scratched off serial numbers, which you neglected in your beautiful exposition.
Yeah, because I think that you're going to find that is not a charged offense that is going to stick to him, and I'll just leave it at that. My belief is that that's actually, from my standpoint, the least of his worries at this point.
How can he get away from that, Misty?
I don't think he can, because it's so crystal clear. And to the extent that they were in his possession, which is my understanding thus far, that is something the feds are just going to have lingering over his head. Even if everything works out your way, you're just, there's no way to wiggle out of that. It's as simple as they're in your possession. They have the scratched off serial numbers, 15-year minimum sentence.
Yeah, there's constructive versus actual possession, and there's all of the law that has transpired in the last 20 years that basically when the guns are in your house, you're not going to get that far. So if I'm ranking my biggest worries or prognosticating my biggest worries, that's not it.
All right, well, we'll see. Let me ask you something else. Monday, jury selection. Mark, you first. Who is the right type of juror for the defense? And then Misty, you give me the flip on the prosecution.
You know, one of the misnomers about these trials is that somehow the judge has to find people that have not heard about the case. That's not the law. That's not the standard. And frankly, in New York, the idea of finding people who have not heard about Diddy or this case, if they're telling you that, 90% of the people that I run into have heard about it, and the other 10% are lying. Jerry Spence I used to discuss with him many years ago, the idea of somebody who says, I presume that he's guilty, but I can set it aside. That's somebody I might want to go for first.
Misty, who are they looking for, the prosecution side?
Listen, if I'm the prosecution, I want prudes. Keep in mind, the freak-offs are going to be a central part of this case. So I want people, I've been in a monogamous relationship since high school. I've never been to a strip club. I don't, I don't like anything that has to do with that, because I want them from the prosecution side to come in, look at those freak-offs, already have the it factor or the ick factor, so that they can take it to the next level and show how it actually violates the law. So that's what I'm looking for on this jury.
Well, if New York City is known for one thing, it's a high index of puritanical people. All right. Thank you both very much. I know, right? That should be Gomorrah. All right, Mark, thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Misty, always a pleasure. I'll see you around town.
Thank you.
Folks, in New York City, the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs has officially begun. That's right. Remember, he was significant in number.
Oh my God. Let me get this gatekeeper out off of my. Okay. No, I do not like Rolanda Martin. Rolanda Martin. Now, so I'm going to show y'all some more videos.
Bottles. On them bottles, right, get to the VIP, all of these girls come around the VIP and they just be standing there. And like, let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna get back with you. We gotta rewind this back. We used to go to when we go to the club, we used to have these bottles, right? And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they've been to have something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff. So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles, right? Then all of the girls is in the club after a while. They all running, opening up their mouth like little birds. He's running around just popping pills in their mouth. Pop pill, 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 pill. And then that was the party. I used to, we used to be on the road, you'd be like, yo, let me go with my Puff room, see what they doing. And you knock on Puff door, he'd be sitting there damn near butt naked. You ever just had a grown ass man answer his hotel door butt naked and they'd be like, come on in? You'd be like, I'll come back. Bro, put some clothes on. What are you doing? I don't want to see you naked. Grown man stuff. Yo, that's kind of disrespectful. So when you get, that's called the test off. How you make sure you breaking in. Look, call the artist up here to the room, tell him I want to have a meeting by my tub. He be in there by the tub and stuff, soaking and stuff, butt ass naked. You be like, how the hell am I supposed to have a meeting with a nigga butt naked in the tub? And we go and get to the V.
So Mark Curry telling his story on how they spike drinks. But you know, people been talking about this.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Let's talk.
I mean, people have been talking about this person who is an evil SOB, an abuser, an unaliver, an alleged shooter, an abuser who breaks women noses. If you've ever had your hands put on you by somebody you love, that is some deep stuff, okay? First, you got to process it. Then you got to take it in. A person you done defended, took care of, to put their hands on you. How dare some of you people? And again, my eyes are wide open now. You can still know somebody and not know them. People out here defending a man that they don't know, saying it's about money, saying the girls, and I'm so sick of you people talking about, oh, they taking the black man down. Okay, well, y'all need to stay out of trouble. We all need to stay out of trouble. With age comes the truth. You're not scared to say it. There are some great people doing some great things instead of beating women, unaliving people.
We go and get to the VIP. All of these girls come around the VIP.
So it's common knowledge that T. Jakes and P. Diddy are good friends. And T. Jake sometimes shows up at Diddy's parties. And I don't know how they would know that if they were not there. I guess they're going on word of mouth. So this is all alleged over here. And some people say that maybe he's conducting business. And I'm wondering to myself, what kind of business can he be conducting during a party? It's best to meet when there's no party, correct? So why would he, a man of God, go to Diddy's, P. Diddy's parties? Because it's alleged that his parties are very wild and crazy in terms of excitement. Why would a man of God show up at P. Diddy's party? Here are some people who have their views about it. It's the first time I'm hearing these allegations, but let's take a listen. Hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. I will greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So in the wake of these allegations against P. Diddy, I'm wondering if his good friend T. Jakes said anything to him, about him, in public. I haven't heard anything, but that's not to say he didn't say anything privately to him. I'm wondering what kind of advice he's giving him at this time. So now here's Jaguar Wright giving us her take on why T. Jakes attended a few of Diddy's parties, allegedly. Let's take a listen. She was being interviewed by Real Life Productions.
Do you remember when Bernie Mac played the minister Friday? Yes. That's how I feel about T.D. Jakes. Like, that's how I see. Oh, Miss Parker, come to pray. For him to be at a Diddy party, I don't know. Like, I feel the same way about that as I feel about when Tyler Perry came to his church and laid hands on him and he caught the Holy Spirit from Tyler Perry.
So this is the audio of what Jaguar was talking about when she said Tyler Perry laid hands on T. Jakes and he fell back like if he had caught the Holy Spirit and was about to speak in tongues.
I pray the blood of Jesus will come upon you right now. Keep you in the chaos. God, I thank you for your blessings.
Tyler Perry is the bishop of what? Like, I've never, like, and I cut a check for $100, and I'm gonna lay my hands on your bishop, and he said, and then the bishop said, it's on the fucking internet. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais screaming, push the baby out. Birth that baby. Push the, I'm like, are we a church? Or is this about to turn into like a whole nother scene, like a lost scene from Eyes Wide Shut? Like, this shit is looking a little weird. I mean, if Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons. Money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties. Money and sex.
Now my question is, how would Jaguar know that? Has she been to one of Diddy's parties? Or maybe a few? Has she been there? How would she know what happens at Diddy's parties? You can't go by what people say. You got to know for sure. And by knowing for sure,
Okay, Jaguar. I respect Jaguar, right? Right? Was in the industry. Jaguar, right? Knows what's going on. And I think people still tell Jaguar right everything. That's why she knows everything. Because they know she's going to put it out there. Now, this is why I hope Diddy, this SOB, never get off. Because let me tell you something. I like Biggie Small, a.k.a. Notorious Big. Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes you want to just hypnotize me. You took away this man. You took away this man from us. This is what I'm getting ready to show you now. It's Diddy's body.
Nothing. We just cool. Everything is fine. Up until the night Big got murdered.
What did you see that day?
When me and Puff touched down in California, we were going everywhere.
You understand? He got connected with Sally Richardson, and we were going to the movies. We were going to the House of Blues, everywhere. So I thought you said we wasn't going nowhere. Puff is going everywhere, and it's just me and him and the driver. You know, some guys might meet up with us and everything like that, but it was just me and him. He said, Gene, I'll be out there. Y'all gonna be all right? I said, all right, cool. Prior to that, I had got a phone call from a guy called Waynesworth Hall. I think it's Waynesworth Hall. His street name was Unique from Mecca Audio. He was a drug kingpin. He said, yo, Gene. Nah, the girl Dawn called me. He said, yo, Unique is on the phone. And I said, yeah. I said, what's up, Unique? He said, vest up, and the phone hung up. Because what happens is, and I found this out, that if the feds find out it's a three-way call, they'll click off. They'll hang up the phone some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So I called Dawn back. Dawn, I said, yo, Dawn, who was that? She said, I told you that was Unique. I said, Unique from Mecca Audio? Now, Dawn used to date Diddy. So I used to she knows a lot of people. So I say to Dawn, Dawn, that was Unique? She said, yeah, that was Unique from Mecca Audio. He told you, he said they coming out, they coming to get y'all. So I say, yo, wow, they coming to get us. So I called Kirk Burroughs. I told Kirk Burroughs we need more security. Because at the time, we only had myself, Kenny Story, and Paul. And Paul had hired a cop from Inglewood. We've only got 4 security out there. You know what I'm saying? And here we got Puff, Big, and they entourage, the whole 9 yards. So he tells me that Puff is not getting any more security. I said, wow. So the part where you was talking about I didn't have to go, I never spoke to Puff about what Unique told me, because I had spoke to Chaz Williams a day after that. And Chaz Williams said, yeah, I'm hearing like they coming at y'all. Now I know there's beef with us because of what the people think about Jake and what has something to do with Suge people.
Right.
I know it's beef because of what Big did to the people from the Dog Pound when he made that phone call and they shot up their Winnebago in New York. I know there's beef from this Muslim cat that Puff had an argument with in Soul Train. I just found out recently what that was about. And I know it's beef with the Tupac stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Hit him up, like you're saying, the beef from Hit him up? Or?
Yeah, from Hit him up, from the fact that Pac is dead.
Right.
You understand? And they said a Crip did it, and because we was rolling with Crips, they may have thought we had something to do with that. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm like this. I'm like, I know this is beef. So when I hear it from Chaz Williams, then I hear it from Unique, and he's locked up in federal jail in Colorado with El Chapo and them, you know, that type of prison. He gets a phone call to me. You understand? So now I'm like this. Wow, I got to tell Puff. Maybe I could stop us from going to this party and everything. So I come over to the Andre Harrell's house, and I say, yo, Paul, I need to speak to Puff. Puff says to me, Paul said, he's upstairs. I say, yo, Puff. He came down to the steps. It was him, Kim. They had white robes on. And I was laughing because it had BH on it.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I said, he stole that. See, he took that damn robe out the Beverly Hills Hotel.
It's classic.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm laughing. I'm looking at him, but I'm kind of laughing at myself. I was like, yo, he took that damn rose out the Beverly Hills Hotel. So he said to me, I said, yo, Puff, I got some intel, bro. He said, what's up, Gene? I said, I got some intel that people gonna come and try to kill us. He said, Gene, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit, Gene. I said, you don't want to hear that shit. F what you mean you don't want to hear that shit? He said, yo, Gene, you ain't got to go if you don't want to go.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch a Guy Tim? You also follow TV podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com. Click on the link above or below. Place your order and represent the VT and the PBD podcast gear.
And I
got up from the table and walked out the door. When I walked out the door, guess who's out there? The Notorious Big in this green Chevy Suburban.
She said
D-Rock is playing up with Tone, and they got a Nerf ball playing with a basketball goal doing like that. I say, yo, Big, somebody gonna try to come kill us tonight. And Lil C's, who I hadn't seen all week, you understand? Lil C says, Gene, go ahead on with that cop shit. You always think you know something. I said, I know one thing, you better get you a GED. You know what that is? A good enough degree, so they don't cheat you out your money like they doing your man right here. And I was talking to about Big, because I had read his whole contract on the plane, because Puff had gave me the briefcase. When he gave me the briefcase, like he just do some bullshit, hand me the briefcase, and went to first class, and I went to coach in the emergency exit, and I just opened it up and started reading the shit. So I'm saying, because at the end of the contract, Big was begging for he was asking for his publishing and his marketing back, and Puff was saying in the contract, we'll revisit that at a later date. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just reading this story. I got 6 hours on this plane. I'm gonna go through whatever's in this briefcase. So that's what I did. So I said, so they don't cheat your man out your money right here. And Big said, yo, Gene, I'm gonna have Rock and Tone hold you while Lil C's get his shit off. I said, all that shit sound good. It may make you feel good, but it won't be healthy. You understand? And then next thing you know, Puff was coming out the door. When Puff was coming out the door, he said, come on, let's go. I got in the car with Puff, and we all went to the Peterson Museum.
Okay, so when you said like they're taking money from your man, Biggie is standing there hearing you saying this?
Said it directly to him.
You said it to him?
I said it directly to him.
And he's about to finish up with the last album, and then he's getting $60-some million with him, with Lil' Kim, with all these other guys that is going to start his own thing.
Bruh, he was finished with his album.
He was done with his album.
He was done. Big was out there doing no work on his album. Puff has set him out there to do work on his album.
Got it.
Not on Big's album.
Right.
Because every time we was in the studio, we was doing work on Puff album.
Now, why is Puff allowing you to talk to Biggie like that? Because you're not helping Puff out. Puff is paying you. Why would you talk to one of his guys that's there? The boss is Puff. Puff is paying you. Why are you talking to Biggie that way?
I'm going to talk to them in any kind of way they talk to me. My whole thing about it is you got to understand, I'm not that dude that you could talk to and have that kind of conversation with you. It wasn't about pay. They needed me more than I needed them. They needed me because they felt safe because I worked for Chaz Williams from Black Hands.
Who's paying you? Who's paying you at the time?
Who's paying me?
Yeah.
It depends on what day it is.
But when you're in L.A., who's paying you when you're in L.A.?
Well, I found out it was Arista Records, but it was for Puff.
Okay, I mean, Puff is paying you, so you're there, but your comment towards Biggie is creating a division between Puffy and Biggie. No, Biggie's going to be like,
but bruh, he already had a division with Puff. Relationship ain't what like people thought it was.
So at this time, has he already told you, yo, Gene, I know you love Diddy, Puff. If you didn't
we had
love
that
him,
conversation the week before that.
Well, I'm telling you, you'd go with him. So everybody at this point, does everybody know he's gone? He's moving on. He's doing his own thing.
I think Puff knew it too.
Puff knew it. Had they had the conversation yet or not?
I don't know
yet?
if they had that conversation.
So is that public or did somebody leak it to Puff? Like Puff is learning from somebody else that told him about Biggie's going to be doing his own thing.
Bruh, if you got to understand this, Clyde Davis and them has spent a lot of money, you understand, to make Big into a superstar. If somebody write up a contract from another record label, Capitol, Atlantic, who you think they gonna tell first? They gonna tell the other head, yo, you know, your boy coming over here, you know, we got them, you know what I'm saying? He bringing us 6 groups. Lil' Kim became a multi-platinum artist. You understand? Lil' Caesar's a gold artist. Cameron is showing promise.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? So you think the two bosses, you know, the two bosses of those record labels ain't friends, they don't know each other, and they not going to tell each other what has been drawn up for them to go?
Okay, so fair. So let's say at this point so now you guys are leaving, okay?
Right.
What happens next?
We'll get to the Peterson Museum.
Okay.
When we get to the Peterson Museum, I jump out the car. I go and see the people at the door. And then I notice this guy named Chris Lattimore. Him and Puff always do parties together. When him and Puff is always doing parties together, a light bulb go out like, yo, damn, that's why he wanted Big at this party. You understand? Because you got to realize Big was supposed to be in London. But he had told Kirk Burroughs that Big wasn't going to London. You understand? Whatever you got to do, he ain't going to London. He going to this party. So I'm like, damn. And it was like every day he was throwing that in Big face the whole time we was there. And I just found out recently by watching a YouTube show, you understand, Math Hoffa, that what's his name? Superman is called, his name is Clark Kent. Clark Kent, the DJ, who was also a vice president of Motown Records at one time, said, I was in Big's room that night before he got murdered. And I asked him what he was going to do. He said, D-Rock and Puff set this party up for me to go to. You understand? I can't. So now we at the place, I see Chris Lattimore. I say, yo, we got like 23 people with us. I watch all 23 guys go through the door. They stopped right there. They took us up the escalator. They put us into a section in the back to the left where cars was at. You understand? Puff said, bring me all the bottles you got left. So Puff, they brought all the bottles that they had left in the back. Puff took like that. Then they just started partying. Big didn't have no smoke. He told Little C's, C's, go find me some smoke. So Little C's went and found some girls who had some smoke. They came over and they started smoking. So I'm behind Big. I'm looking at, it's a lot of bloods and everything up in there. So I take my gun and I put it behind my back, and I kept my arms behind my back with my gun out.
You're standing like that?
Huh?
So I would know if you're standing like that. Yeah. You're standing like that.
I'm like that. I'm like this with my hands behind my back.
You have a suit, you have a jacket. What do you got on?
No, I got a Mecca Audio black shirt with the number 4.
Okay. So I can tell that you're carrying. The average guy's gonna know you're carrying. Okay, right. Got it. Right. And you're behind Big at this time. Big. Okay, I'm tracking.
Big. They say they're about to close the place.
What time is it at this time?
Probably about 11:45, close to 12 o'clock, something like that. And they about to close the place. So then I said to one of the dudes, Paul, I said, yo, Paul, you good? He said, yeah, I'm good. I said, here, hold this. And that was a Glock 26. I gave it to him. You understand? Because I had another weapon on. I had my personal weapon. I had not my personal weapon on me, and I had a Glock 26. And I said, yo, hold this. I'll be right back. I went downstairs and got the cars and put them right in front of the door. Big car and our car. You know what I'm saying? So when Big comes out, because it's going to take him a long time to walk out, that we'll be right there. We didn't have to wait for the cars or anything. So Big comes out, everybody comes out, we walk, it's taking time. I go back upstairs, we walking real slow, because Big could barely walk. They was pushing him around Cali in a wheelchair. You understand? He didn't want that look when he went upstairs, so he came up on a cane. I think he had fractured or broken his fibula bones in his thighs or something like that. So he waits time, he gets in the car and everything like that. So then I'm thinking we ready to go. And we were supposed to be going to Steve Stout's house. Steve Stout was a producer. I don't know, he's some kind of bigwig or manager, producer, something like that. So Steve Stout, we supposed to be going to his house, but then I got a phone call because I had called Chaz, because Chaz was already there. I didn't know where Chaz was at. Chaz was out there with the Black Hand Mob, with the crew. And I had told Chaz, I said, yo, Chaz, it's looking real shady up in here. So Chaz was coming from Steve Stout's house down to our house, down to the Peterson Museum. So he said, yo, don't go up to y'all don't go to Steve Stout house. But what good is to tell Puff? So the 23 people that came in with us, it was only 12 of us leaving. Oh no, 11 of us leaving.
23, 11 leave.
Yeah.
12 stay.
11 stayed. 12 had already went to Steve Stout's house.
Got it. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because they were probably feeling a certain kind of way up in that Peterson Museum.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? What kind of disciples are those?
How many of them are alive today? Most of them?
Those 12?
That left.
Yeah.
They're alive. Most of them. Okay. So 11, you guys leave.
Right.
What happens?
So now everybody gets in the car. So I'm like, yo, come on, let's go. Let's go. And Puff said, we got to wait for Paul. That's Paul and I think it's Reggie Blaylock. I'm not for sure. The officer from Inglewood. I didn't never get a chance to meet him. It's usually when you do a security detail, people gonna come meet you and everything like that, but I never met him. So we waiting for them to get their car out. 7 to 8 minutes later, this guy from the Nation of Islam that had a blue suit, white shirt, blue bow tie, come walking down the block. When he gets to I peeked right there. When he gets to the third or second car, I just come out. And I'm come out. At this time, when we outside, I have my gun up under my shirt and I just lowered it. He looks me in the eye, I look him in the eye. He don't say nothing. He don't say a thing. He just turns around and walk back down the street. So I see him go about 3 cars, because all the cars was lined up in a space right there. And after the third or fourth car, I went back into the driveway to say, yo, man, where your cars at? Let's go. You understand? So we had to pull up out the driveway. So we pull up out the driveway. Now we lined up to the cars that are lined up on the street. We lined up on the cars when they're lined up on the street. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, yo, Paul, what's up, man? He said, yo, he getting the car out now. So the Reggie dude pulls up with the car, right? So I said, y'all ready to go? He said, yeah, we ready to go. So then I say, Paul, follow us. You know what I'm saying? We right there. Big is right here. Me and Paul is at his car. Big driver is right there. A big driver, G Money and everything. I'm looking at him and looking at Paul. Yo, y'all follow us. All right? Follow us. You understand? Paul said, okay. Paul goes back to his car. I stands on side of the car. I got my left arm on this, on the top of it, and my arm on the guardrail with my gun out, right? I got my gun out. I get on the side rail. Puff said, yo, Gene, get in this car. We don't need that. I said, how the fuck you, I'm sorry about that.
Totally fine, go.
Right. He said, how the F you gonna tell me how to do my job? How you gonna tell me how to do my job? He said, yo, Gene, get in here. I said, man, what are you talking about getting in here? How you gonna tell me how to do my job? He said, get in here or you ain't gonna work another day for Bad Boy. So it wasn't so much I was thinking about working for Bad Boy. It was the fact that I know it's beef out here. And if I don't get in this car, how am I gonna get home? I'm gonna get back to the Beverly Hills Hotel. And then so then I gets in the car. As soon as I get to the car, he pulls his seat all the way back. So now my legs are sideways. I said, man, what the F you doing? I said, yo, Kenny, run the next 3 lights. Run the next 3 lights, Kenny. He said, why? I said, Kenny, let me drive then. If you ain't gonna run the next 3 lights, let me drive, Kenny. Kenny takes off. We takes her from that spot. We didn't stop at it was a flashing red light. We didn't stop like that. We went across the light. As we going across the light, Tone, who's behind me, says, yo, Big them ain't coming across the light. Yo, somebody pointing a gun at Big. I goes to open the door, right? We hear something say, pap, 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 pap. Kenny guns the car going forward. I said, Kenny, what the fuck are you doing, Kenny? Kenny, what are you doing? He said, they say somebody shoot, yeah, motherfucker, they shooting at Big. What the fuck is you doing, Kenny? He stops the car when we halfway down the block. Backs up, do the U-turn, come back around. We see the car speeding out. We stop right in the middle, right in the front of Big's car with the other Suburban. Big cars look like airplane because all the doors is open. You know what I'm saying? Except his. You understand what I'm saying? All the doors is open. Nobody's in the car, nothing like that. Puff runs around to his car. Runs around on Big's side. Yo, Big, you all right? You all right? Tone said, yo, Gene, come on. Come on, Gene. Me and Tone jumped in the other Suburban and we chases after the car. We chase after the car and it seemed like we're going up this hill, like a slant over there. It's like a hill going up that way. We get to the top. When we get to the top, we don't see nothing. We don't see nobody. We don't see nothing. We don't see nobody. I say, yo, Tone, man, let's get back. Cause those cats ain't got nothing. You know, Kenny, he does security, he got a gun, the officer got a gun, but was nobody there. So when we get back, you understand? D-Rock them is coming up. D-Rock, Lil C's, Paul, now they coming back. So we was going about probably 3 to 5 minutes. You know, chasing the guy right there, and then don't see him no more. So we come back. D-Rock is walking around with his hands on his head talking about, oh, they got my man. They got my man. Big is still alive. Wasn't thinking. Right through the driveway, it was ambulance, cops, and the fire department. Somebody called 911. They calling 911 and they respond. They right through the driveway. They right through the driveway. Nobody responds. And so then I'm down there. I went down there and not one time I was thinking, I'm thinking, yo, usually somebody who do some shit like that, they come back to the scene to see if anybody talking, if anybody doing like that. So I'm not thinking like, yo, stupid ass go across and get the police, go across and get the ambulance people. I wasn't thinking like that. I'm thinking like, I'm not thinking about that. But I'm thinking when they call in 911, if they right around the corner, why they don't come through there? You understand what I'm saying? So Paul comes down to me and he said, yo, Gene, we about to go. And as we was about to go, it was this rapper, producer on the phone. We know him as DJ Quick. He says right out of his mouth, he says, yo, I think they got one of them bad boy niggas. They said they was gonna get him. So then Paul grabs me, like, yo, Gene, come on. Because I was gonna step to him. We about to go. So that's when we got in the car, and Puff got in the car behind Big. G Money is driving, Kenny is driving that car, and then Tone is driving our car, and we following them to the hospital. And we come to find out that the hospital was only 2 blocks away. Kenny took us to a hospital that was 30 minutes away.
Get out of here. 30 minutes away.
30 minutes away.
When were you in the car with Biggie or no? You're in the other car.
I'm in the car with Tone.
When does Biggie die?
Listen, this is what happened. When Kenny got in the car,
yeah,
and Puff said, yo, I told him, yo, stay right here and let the ambulance come to us, y'all. And Puff made the decision. No, we going to the hospital. Kenny, you know where the hospital at? So then Kenny said, yeah, I know where the hospital at. Somebody told me it was a hospital 2 blocks away from the Peterson Museum.
Okay, so you guys go to Cedar Sinai.
Right, but it took us like 30 minutes to get there.
And by the time you get there, is he already dead in the car or not yet?
No, I couldn't even tell you. Because what I did was I say, whatever y'all do, don't let him go to sleep. Keep him up. Don't let him close his eyes. Keep him up. That's his last word. And then Kenny said, I'm going to take you to the hospital, Big. Big, I'm going to get you to the hospital. And the last words I heard Big said, just do it. I said, that shit could have been a Nike commercial.
Did you see him? Did you look at him when he's shot? You spoke to him when he shot up.
Yeah, I spoke to him.
And
I didn't speak to him. Kenny, I'm in front of him. When Puff got in the back seat of him, in the back seat, and I'm telling you, whatever y'all do, don't let him go to sleep. Don't let him go. I'm in front of him. I'm in front right here in Big, talking to Big. Y'all don't let him go to sleep. Yo, Big, stay up, Big. Don't let him go to sleep. And then Kenny said, yo, Big, I'm gonna get you to the hospital. And Big just said, just do it. That's the last thing I heard him say.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Value Timmy? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com. Click on a link above or below. Place your order and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.
So let me ask a
So that's his former bodyguard. Okay. So I'm gonna hurry up and get ready to end this show. Just keeping y'all updated on why I feel the way I feel about certain things. This is April Showers. Peace out. Oh boy. Oh. I got company coming from out of town. Okay, I'm gonna do another show. Hold on, I'm gonna take a neighbor a piece of fish. Yeah, I didn't get it. You're remaining in his home without his permission, and that's trespass. So he's entitled to call the police, and I'm sure the police escorted you out and told you to go home. He is entitled, therefore, to file for normal protection if he feels that you might come back.